Hello guys, and welcome back to this channel. Today I wanted to share what we're using in our preschool at home school setting for teaching maths and numbers. So the first book I read about homeschooling was The Well-Trained Mind by Susan Wise Bauer and Jessie Wise, and I've been using some of their preschool and kindergarten suggestions for resources when it comes to different curriculums that we're using at the preschool stage. And when it comes to maths, I'm actually using one that was recommended in that book, and it's also used in the gentle and classical preschool curriculum as well, I believe. And this is the Preschool Math at Home book by Kate Snow. And this is quite a hands-on way of teaching literacy with numbers and just basic counting skills, and introducing just some basic concepts using household objects. And I think it is designed for just parents. It's designed for parents to teach their children at home. So there are a series of lessons in the book, and each section has a different aim. So at the moment we're working on the counting to 5 section, and we do, I think there's about 12 lessons in this section, and we do one lesson every day for a week, and then if my child has mastered it by the end of the week, then we move on to the next lesson for the next week. Otherwise we just carry on repeating that until he's got that. So it basically, you don't need anything apart from this book and a few toys or things to count. And at the moment we're working on counting to 5, and just being able to recognise 5 items or fewer than 5 items at a time. We're not covering recognition of written numerals at all. We do use the Good and the Beautiful preschool curriculum, which is our main phonics curriculum, and that does have number recognition and counting in that. But whenever that comes up, I just teach it, but I don't expect him to grasp that fully, because that will come up later in this preschool math at home book. So I know once we've just done basic counting, then it will cover written numerals in this book, and then it goes on to introduce concepts such as more or less, and addition and subtraction, and equal, and so on. So it covers really the basics of beginning to work with numbers and use numbers in daily life. The lessons are really short and easy to do, and it's just the first lesson, for example, is just lining up some toys that look similar and counting them to 5. And we've been doing that every day for a week. And then the next thing was to arrange the toys in a different formation and then get them to count them, and so on. And at the moment we're working on counting on our fingers and using learning about 0 and what that represents. And we do that every day in our maths lesson. We do a lesson from this book. So like I said, we repeat the same lesson every day for a week, and then we will carry it on the next week if it's not fully clicked in yet. But we do that. I've made some flashcards here, which is something we do every day as well. And I just do 1 to 5, and I've got the written numeral on here as well, and some items that he can count. and we just do 1 to 5 every day. Another thing I do every day is read a book about numbers. Usually it's like a 1 to 10 number book. We do also have a book about the number 0, and we have a book, some books that just cover 1 to 5. But I just read that. Sometimes he's listening, sometimes he's busy playing, but I know he's still listening, even if he doesn't look like he's listening. And sometimes he'll come and count with me, and sometimes he'll just be busy playing. So, yeah, we do the flashcards, our number book, and a preschool math at home lesson every day. And then we do a different rotation of mathematical activities using manipulatives and other things, or playing games involving numbers. So the first thing we have are some pegs, wooden pegboards, and this is like a Montessori resource that I got on Amazon, and I get him to count the number of holes in the board. It's got the number written as well on the side, and I only put out 1 to 5 at the moment, and I get him to put in the pegs into the holes. I've got a similar thing, which is a wooden 10 frame and a bead frame that goes to 10, but I'm not using those in our current rotation at the moment. We have used them in the past, but because I'm just focusing on 1 to 5, I've taken them away from our rotation, and I'll reintroduce them when we're doing 1 to 10. So yeah, we do our wooden pegs usually on a Monday, and then on a Tuesday I'll do something like counting with some stones, or counting sticks is another game we play, or just other toys that look similar, and we'll just do the counting, which is one of the activities, one of the lessons that we've covered from this book, but I'll just keep doing that, counting games, just to keep that fresh in our mind. And then on a Wednesday, for example, we will use number cards, so I'll get him to count the items on the card. I'll just do 1 to 5 again, and then I'll get him to put the peg on the right number, so that encourages a bit of number recognition, but I'm not really expecting him to know it. I'm just making sure he can count the objects, rather than making sure he recognises the number by himself. Another thing we have done in the past is use this number train set from Yoto, but this Yoto set is like a Yoto card audiobook, which goes with the Lego Duplo number train, which is a Duplo set you can buy. And the Yoto card just tells a story about the number train and the numbers 1 to 10. And I've just played that every now and again while they're playing. I used to do it like once a week. Another resource which I got that I recommend is these counting bears, and they're really the main thing that we use while we use the preschool math at home curriculum, although you don't need them. You can use anything around the house, but these are quite fun to have. Both boys know now that when the bears come out, it's time to practice our counting. So, these are useful to have around as a counting manipulative, and they also come in different sizes and colours. So in the past, when we've been learning about colours, I've got them to sort the bears out into different colours and so on. You could do different sizes, and they're just great to have around really for demonstrating different examples. We also have the Kumon Are You Ready for Kindergarten book, and this has a math section in here. although I don't think we'll be using that until we finish the Kate Snow book. So yeah, we're using just mostly household objects at this stage, and just bringing numbers into everyday life, which is something that Susan Wise-Bauer says at this level, and she says a maths curriculum isn't really necessary at this stage, or kindergarten stage, but she does have the suggestions in the book, so that's where we got the preschool math at home suggestion from, because I feel like maths is not my strongest subject, and I really don't want that to hinder my child's love of maths or potential love for maths. He might not be into maths, which is fine, but I don't want him to be hindered by or be afraid of maths. I feel like maths is quite hard for a lot of people, but there are people that naturally are drawn to it, and I do want to be better at maths than I am as well, so there's learning for me to do in the future, especially as we get further into our homeschooling. But yeah, I'm basically using that approach for now and surrounding him with books about maths, storybooks, so about counting and numbers and things, addition and subtraction, odd versus even, and things like that. So we'll be collecting different storybooks as we go through the early years, to increase that familiarity with numbers and increase that numerical literacy. And that's really our aim at this stage. So I think I've covered everything, but if you have suggestions, I would love to hear them. I'm always looking for some fun games and new manipulatives to add to our homeschool. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching so much. Bye.